Repairing difficult-to-reach spark plug threads. Buying a pre-owned motorcycle always comes with risks. Private party purchases are as is, and that means you need to guess whether everything is right. The low-mileage, pristine 2001 XL1200S Sportster is no exception. One thing unpredictable was whether the spark plug was cross-threaded at the most difficult-to-reach spark plug in the twin-plug cylinder heads. Removing the old spark plugs for an upgrade to Polestar plugs, 3 spark plugs came out readily. The 4th plug felt way too tight. Making this finding worse, the plug that was overly tight is the central plug in number 1 cylinder on a unique Buell Lightning cylinder head. This factory head is rare. The tight access design requires threading the plug into the head with extreme care. On spark plugs with poor access, I hold the spark plug with a piece of fuel hose and cautiously start the threads. Someone in this bike's low-mileage past obviously did not. The aftermarket NGK spark plugs were installed haphazardly. The person responsible had forced the plug into the head, cross-threading it, and leaving the problem for the next service tech or owner to solve. During my earlier career, a job like this required mandatory cylinder head removal and replacement. Finding a good used Buell Lightning head could be a real problem. Beyond the stripped plug threads, the original head is in good condition. Restoring these threads would make the engine reliable and a strong runner. Fortunately, we're in the era of specialty thread repair tools and inserts. I have professionally repaired spark plug threads before. The task can be performed safely without removing the cylinder head. The difficulty with this V-twin spark plug hole is the difficult access. This is the interior spark plug at number 1 cylinder that can be easily mishandled by an inexperienced tech or DIY installer. The plug is buried in a tight recess at the center of the cylinder head. Clearly, this is the most challenging on-the-engine spark plug thread repair I've done yet. I evaluated the task carefully and considered the option of removing the cylinder head. With carefully chosen specialty tools and a permanent thread insert, I'm tackling this job with a cylinder head in place. These steps and the tools involved will be helpful if you inherit a project like this one. The alternative is removing the cylinder head and either performing the job on the workbench or subletting the task to an automotive machine shop. Spark plug thread repairs can be done safely with the engine assembled, even under challenging conditions. The Harley-Davidson XL1200S Sport has Buell twin-plug cylinder heads. The second spark plug is mounted in the center of the cylinder head and is very difficult to reach. This is a Quinn spark plug socket set from Harbor Freight that makes that chore much easier. Using the 5/8 swivel spark plug socket with a rubber insert and the extension that has a locking collar, it's very easy to drop this into the tight-fitting spark plug hole. Before removing the spark plugs, I want to get any debris that might have gathered around these inner spark plugs out of the way. This is the Quinn 5/8 spark plug socket with a rubber insert that will fit down inside and center up on the spark plug. That's firmly on the spark plug. The extension will not pull out, which is really handy. The spark plug threads feel intact, which is a good sign. This is the first time the plugs have been removed. And there's the plug, and this has been running rich. This is a reflection on the knockoff carburetor, possibly long warm-up periods as well. There's enough tension on the swivel to position the socket well, and you can hear it snapping down into position. It has an excellent grip on the spark plug. It's very easy to center up the extension. This doesn't feel good. I've used extreme care turning this plug out, and I am crossing fingers that the spark plug threads are okay in the head. The plug has been running rich, but the threads don't look bad. I don't see a buildup of aluminum on the threads. Well, there's no loose material. The plug was seating squarely, which is a good sign. And the last portion of the threads, the plug came out easily, which is always a good sign. I tried a thread chaser to no avail. It cleaned up each of the thread sets on the 3 good spark plug holes, but did no good at all on the damaged threads of the number 1 cylinder. 3 of the spark plug holes cleaned up just fine. The threads look great. The number 1 cylinder's central spark plug threads are gone. The bottom half of the threads are missing and the top half is loose. This will be a challenging thread insert repair. The limited access to the spark plug hole makes it necessary to use extension tools and finesse my way through the opening at the top of the head. With the twin spark plugs, I made an arrangement where I'm applying vacuum to the second spark plug hole the entire time that I'm cutting and tapping at the central spark plug hole. These are the 2 primary tools. The drill that's perfectly sized for the 14mm by 1.25mm pitch tap. In this first step, the extension connects to a drill bit. The drill bit is lathered with grease to pick up any of the aluminum that comes off in the cutting process. The drill is started very carefully by hand to make sure that it is on center and not dancing around the spark plug hole. I'm purposely using this electric ratchet because the square head enables a square socket that fits on the end of the extension and the other tooling. The piston is down in the cylinder. There's tape around the drill to act as a stop. Make sure the valves and piston are well out of the way. Make absolutely certain that the drill is going straight and perpendicular to the spark plug seat. I get one shot at this, and a Buell replacement cylinder head is not cheap or easy to find. The bore is perfectly true and on square. The toolkit includes a counter bore cutting tool. This cuts the seat for the insert. The shoulder on the insert will be flush with the seat of the spark plug. The counter bore cutter quickly cuts a seat for the insert's shoulder. With the pilot hole drilled, the tap can now run threads down through the bore that's been cut with the drill. I start the tap very slowly and with my fingers, finding that first thread and making sure the tool is perfectly straight with the bore. Once the tap has started, it will find its way straight through the hole. It's the initial 2 threads that are critical. The wobble you see here is not the tap. The tap is stable and running straight and true into the bore. I'm demonstrating the use of this tap in real time. This is how painstaking I am in cutting these threads. I'm applying the lightest of pressure. This is aluminum, and the tool steel of the tap is sufficient for cutting like butter through aluminum. The idea here is to minimize the amount of material cut and to form the threads without shredding the surrounding metal. I have plenty of time to think of the alternative, which would be removing the cylinder head and either replacing it or doing an insert repair on the bench. I'm using Seafoam Deep Creep Penetrant as a cutting oil. This relieves stress on the aluminum. I did this when chasing the good threads as well. I keep the tap stable and hold the extension on center by supporting the ratchet head. Remember to back the ratchet off to relieve the threads of built-up aluminum. Watch the buildup of aluminum shavings. Change grease. Wipe the grease off the tools if necessary. Keep the tools clean and well greased while doing this work. Mark or tape the tap to pass right through the hole but go no further. The end of the tap should remain well above the piston and avoiding the valves. Notice that I consistently support the ratchet right over the top of the extension to keep it on center. Now I use a larger diameter plastic tube attached to the high output vacuum cleaner to suck any possible remains of aluminum out of the cylinder. Although aluminum is much softer than iron, I still want to get all of the debris out of the cylinder. Notice how pristine these spark plug threads look after chasing them with a spark plug thread chaser and deep creep. The Seafoam Deep Creep softened up carbon on top of the piston and around the valves. This came out with the vacuuming as well. Now there is a perfectly formed set of 14mm by 1.25 pitch threads. All debris and penetrant are blown out of the area. This is now bone dry. This is the final vacuum purging of the cylinder. This is a stainless steel thread insert and the installation tool that comes with the thread repair kit. The inserts in this thread repair kit are excellent. They're made of stainless steel. A drawback is that these inserts do not have a locking mechanism. I opted for the 263 Loctite Red because it works well with inactive metals like aluminum and stainless steel. It tolerates high heat and does not require primer with these metals. Loctite 266 would tolerate even more heat but does require primer. This is Loctite 263 applied evenly to all of the threads except the lower thread that faces the cylinder. It would require 500 degrees Fahrenheit applied locally right around the threads to loosen this insert once the thread locker cures. The insert is fed and threaded carefully into the spark plug hole. Fresh, uncured thread locker acts like a lubricant. I torque this thread insert to 12 foot-pounds to lock it in place. I allow the anaerobic 263 red thread locker to cure for 24 hours before attempting to put the spark plug in place. The thread insert tool and extension come out readily. This insert is 17mm in length, ideal for this spark plug hole. The insert threads reach as far into the hole as the original threads. Select the insert length carefully. This is the finished insert. Note that it's flush with the deck where the spark plug seats. This is a wide-angle borescope view of the new thread insert and threads. The new thread insert from the bottom end looks just like the original threads. In a sequel video, I'll show how to properly install these spark plugs and also run a cylinder leak down test to prove how well this insert seals.